Your Grace, I know my brother.
Like you knew your sister.
When the time comes, you'll be down in the crypts. They're the safest place to be.
He'll come for me. He's tried before, many times, with many three-eyed ravens.
Why? What does he want?
An endless night.
We're probably going to die soon. I ought to know what it's like before that happens.
I think we might live. I do.
Arise, Brienne of Tarth, a knight of the Seven Kingdoms. My name, my real name, is Aegon Targaryen.
Hey, what's going on? It's Men of the North, Monday, April 22nd, with a precap, a preview of Episode 3, Season 8, Game of Thrones, with a sneaky little recap of Episode 2, Season 8, Game of Thrones. The Unsullied joining us on the microphone include Eric Nordquist, the Thrones techie Aaron Gleeman, who's also editor-in-chief of Baseball Prospectus, and Paul Charchian from fanball.com. My name is Paul Allen, still buzzing from that emotionally compelling episode that was Episode 2, Season 8, Game of Thrones. Seems like Episode 3, maybe into 4, will be the greatest TV scene since July 1st, 1941. That's when WNBT in New York aired Brooklyn Dodgers versus Philadelphia Phillies, the first television show of any kind that was aired. Imagine how people felt then, probably the way we feel now. Hello, Unsullied, what do you think?
The fight scene will probably be longer than that game lasted in 1941. Pace of play-wise.
Right,
it'll be
so
a little
we
bit...
know this one is a 88-minute episode coming up.
Yeah.
And we also know that the creators, or one of the creators, basically said this is going to be the longest fight scene in any movie or television show
That's
ever.
right. Wow. So it'll be virtually the whole show.
Yeah, it has to be 40 minutes plus, right?
So we believe that starts next episode?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not
They're
immediately,
at the doorstep.
but...
Yeah.
They're at the doorstep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And Charchie, if indeed Episode 3 begins that epic battle and say it gets into Episode 4, it's playing perfectly with Covenant Collapse potentially coming for you. It's playing perfectly for bets to be settled between the living and dead, like 2/3 of the way through the final season, with the family set to establish the throne in the final 2 episodes.
Yeah, but for all we know, we could have resolution on all of the dead at the end of this episode. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that we're 1 episode away from the dead not even being a factor the rest of this season. So this will be a decided big point in the history of the show.
But what if the dead wins?
I'd be stunned if they win because there's so many open storylines now. But it's possible. Anything's possible.
But the dead's minus 240.
Yeah,
the living are plus 180.
The guys in the cornfield. But here's I would also be stunned. Just because then what's left that's compelling, they go kill Cersei.
That's right.
Who cares?
That's it. That's right. It's just dead versus Cersei now.
Couldn't it be that the dead mostly wins, and then like a handful of people escape on Dragonback or escape through the underground or something like that, and then somehow make their way to King's Landing and like sell Cersei on the fact that you will not believe what we just went through. Let us at least join up with your crew now. Because they're about to come here.
But then she unleashes the gold company, and everybody who sneaked through the tunnels dies.
Well, they're not going to. That army of the dead at that point will be unstable.
Right. So
the gold company will just be a speck in their way, right?
Unless they have those elephants.
Speed bump.
Where are those elephants?
Since we're talking about the battle for Sunday, and PA, you brought this up, and I had to rewatch the very end of the show from last night, and now I'm obsessed with it. Where's the Night King?
Yeah.
Okay. They didn't show him.
Because the entire plan of Bran and the bait and the whole thing, Theon now is suddenly so heroic. He's volunteering to protect the three-eyed raven.
Yeah.
Their whole plan's based on get to the Night King and they all fall. Well, where's the Night King?
Right.
He's not there. We didn't see the dragon. We just saw, and so what is he up to? And that's what I'm interested to see.
And see to that, this Monday morning, day we record the newest version of Men of the North, The Unsullied, I rolled into iHeartFell and came up with this theory for Nordo saying that what if the Night King is not part of this battle initially? Because if he's able to steal Bran's plays, then he knows that if they want to kill him because they think everybody will topple, then maybe he's just going to like take a back seat in the early stages and not even be part of it.
I think there's a very good chance they'll do that. In part because if you're gonna draw this battle out 40, 60, 80 minutes, there has to be some things that change in the battle. It can't just be a bunch of guys swinging swords at each other for 80 minutes, right? There's got to be some conflict resolution. Things have to change. Halfway through the battle, here comes the Night King. Previously, who knows where, doing what. Here he comes on Dragonback. Maybe it's the very end of the battle when it looks like the good guys are winning. Yeah. And here comes
which
the
we've
Night
seen
King
before,
on Dragonback.
not from the Night King, but in other huge battles.
Yes.
Where it looks like it's turned against one side,
Battle
and then
of the
somebody, somebody comes swooping in.
Yeah.
Right.
But what I want is for the Night King to go take a little trip. So he's got his army, Winterfell, that's the main battle. He just cruises on south a little bit and just lays wood to Euron and his awful armada and everybody down south with this dragon. Because now, while the dead aren't walking out into the ocean to get anybody,
dragon
he
can fly over
dragon.
It's a great point. It's a great point, Nordo. Never thought of it. That's brilliant.
I didn't either.
That's very good.
Because we are so immersed on dead overcoming Winterfell. What if Night King with a band of dead are heading to do exactly what you just said? So they're killing two living with one proverbial stone, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Speaking of that, if indeed, and again, this is a precap where we preview the next episode while in low-key fashion recapping the previous episode. This is Men of the North, Nordo, Thrones Techie, Gleeman, Paul Charchian, Fanball.com. I'm Paul Allen. We're part of the iHeartRadio family. When we think back to episode 2 into episode 3, major part that developed is the potential of Bran being bait for the Night King because he's marked. All right, super long shot. And I'm spitballing. What about cutting off Bran's arm and putting it in a spot as bait to get the Night King there? Because, well, guess what? Because now Night King bites, Bran lives.
But that's a very literal interpretation of him being marked by the Night King. Do you think it like his arm was marked? But do you think it's like a tracker, like you put in a dog? Like if we lose
That's why I said it was a long shot, biatches.
Is his body, like his soul, marked?
We're just trying to come up with ideas.
That would be
here,
amazing.
Okay?
Yeah, the Night King just strolls in there, looks up at the tree. There's just an arm dangling from a tree, and then all of a sudden he just gets attacked.
I just the whole premise seems weird to me that they've decided we're going to put the Night King's main goal here, in addition to the destruction of humanity, is to go get Bran. So let's put him outside the castle. And let's put Theon in a ragtag group of pirates to protect him. I mean, that seems weird to me and a little implausible.
It also, I felt like they kind of buried the lead with that whole, like that part of that scene, which was a great scene.
Yeah.
And it essentially explains why the Night King is so motivated to do this. Like the basic level, he's just trying to kill people.
Yeah.
But if his whole point to all this, and why it's happening all of a sudden, like why there's such an urgency to it and this is ramped up, is that he's going after the Three-Eyed Raven, Bran.
Yeah.
Then that explains like his entire motivation, what's driving him forward, in which case, no matter what happens there, that may sort of settle a huge part of this. Even if there's not like a clear-cut winner, something's going to happen to Bran. Either Bran is going to fly away on a dragon, or they're going to catch the Night King with the bait.
Or he dies.
Right.
I mean, I think Bran is a candidate for death.
Yeah,
I do. I think.
Anytime on a show they go,
he's
hey,
the bait.
You're bait.
Yeah, he's the bait, right? And that may very well involve his death. And let's keep in mind, they don't need Bran anymore to tell. Bran's major purpose for existence in this world is to tell backstories, right? To fill in patches in the narrative that we haven't seen. They don't need Bran for that anymore.
Yeah. Especially he filled in Tyrion. It sounds like, because they didn't show that scene, but he basically says, hey, I got all the time in the world.
Yeah,
we're sitting here, why don't you tell me? And then they cut out of that scene.
Right.
I'm going to assume they sat there for, let's say, a half hour. And Brandon's like, here's the major beats of what's going on here.
Right.
And like, that's, I think what they're setting up by making it clear that Tyrion made that big mistake and is now kind of maybe on the outs with Dany.
Brilliant.
But now all of a sudden he's acquired that information that literally no one else has, because he was in a room with the viewer doesn't even have it.
Yeah. Right.
That they made a clear point not to show that.
But where's the place? The proper term for it is eluding me. The place where Khaleesi said, Tyrion, you have to go there because I need your mind.
The Crypt.
Yeah, the Crypt.
The Crypt, thank you. Okay, so now...
The safest place on earth.
Off what Paul said about the potential of Bran dying, what about the whole Crypt nature of what developed in episode 2, with them repeatedly saying, safest place to be, safest place to be? Feels like
everyone's down.
Feels like the blue-eyed dragon's going to sneak his way down there, blow whatever he blows, and everybody's done.
Yeah, so it was Chekhov's Crypt. They just said it over and over and over again.
What if the king's able to raise those that are dead and held down in the crypt?
Yeah, come on!
And now we've got
that's right.
Ned Stark is wielding a sword, and potentially one of his own
like Sansa.
Sansa or Arya has to get a dead Ned Stark. Right? Yeah. I mean, that is pure ugliness. Or even the Crypt.
But is that a long shot, or do we believe that actually can happen?
Oh, I think it can happen.
Yeah.
Let's look at who's in the Crypt. First, you got to ask yourself, there aren't that many major characters in the Crypt. There's Tyrion, Samwell, Gilly. That's it of major characters.
Well, all the women and children.
Well, and I'm just saying major characters.
Okay.
Church doesn't care
women
about
and
the
children,
women.
right?
Please. Yeah. There's plenty of those.
That's right. Plenty of those. We can make more of those. So if they decide that the Crypt's gonna fall, those are the characters who would die. I don't see Tyrion dying.
Right.
I really don't. I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
And I don't see Sam dying either. They've worked really hard to keep Sam fairly essential here. I don't think the Crypt falls.
I don't think it's going to be so much, if this plays out like we're kind of speculating, that it's going to be so much, oh my God, you won't believe who died here, so much as some door's going to open and like the ghost of Ned Stark is going to be there. Or, by the way, Jon Snow just said, hey, that's my mom right there. She could also rise up.
Wow.
Lyanna Stark. I mean, basically there could be hundreds of them down there. So
okay.
Like, maybe we're just inventing this scenario out of nothing, but that would be real compelling to watch.
And we're spitballing on Men of the North, but to that point, nearing the end, when Jon and Daenerys, when Jon shared with Daenerys, here's who my real family is. Yeah. I'm Targaryen. And then she was like, well, you're the last male, whatever.
Heir to the throne.
Insinuating you are the true heir to the throne. She got really chilly. And then the horn blew, and they see the dead coming.
Yep.
So, like, where do we think this goes?
Well, it's got to go on the back burner, right? I mean, right now you got to deal with the lesson at hand, and that's 100,000 dead at the doorstep. But there's like two different angles, right? And I know PA wants to get into Jenny's song, which the song that Podrick is singing towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
And we can talk about the ramifications or clue into that. But
I found a major harbinger potential with the song that was sung in front of the fire that I can't wait to share with the Unsullied.
Her immediate reaction is one of like, where's my nearest knife? Like, I mean, she was completely put off and negative on the concept, because whereas Jon through the entire series has never wanted any power.
Yep.
He's just accepted it, and people have led him naturally. Her entire character arc is about being the true queen of Westeros and coming back home to take what she perceives as hers. And so now you have two opposite ends of the spectrum. The one that has the crown and wants it actually hasn't earned it. And the other one by birth apparently is supposed to have it. And I don't think he wants it.
He doesn't want it.
No.
That's going to be the key to this.
If they had 10 extra seconds before the horn, he says, but it's yours. Yeah. I'll always bend the knee, and I love you. I don't want it.
Don't worry about it.
Right. I wish they would have done that, but I think they're trying to draw it out a little bit.
I want to keep the sex thing going.
Yeah, she didn't bring that up. She didn't go, ooh, that might have been a mistake, what we did then the other night.
Yeah.
She went right to the throne stuff.
To Nordo's point, Daenerys' whole identity has been built around her being the eventual successor, and he just stripped that from her. She gets a few minutes to recombobulate herself, right? Yeah. I'm not worried that her knee-jerk reaction was, well, what about the throne? I don't mind that. When this whole battle's over, and if Jon's still alive and she's still alive, I think at the end she will end up coming around to the idea that he really is. He's never been motivated by power and motivated to take the throne, and he won't hear.
If she does not put the lesson at hand, the battle between the living and the dead, ahead of her personal desire, which has been there since she was naked in season 1 as little baby Khaleesi, then how's that going to factor into defeating the dead?
Oh,
I mean,
if she pulls the dragons away, and
oh my God,
then what?
But then, even
somebody
if,
call the elephants.
Even if she's completely put off to this whole thing, if she basically goes, well, now what am I doing here?
Yeah.
What can she really do? She could hop on the dragon, but he can control the second dragon now because he's been as an approved rider of it.
Brilliant.
That's right.
So she can hop on a dragon. Where's she going to go?
Yeah.
She has every army that's at her disposal there. No one likes her really. People are turning against her. It's not like she can go fly to Hawaii or somewhere. And just hang
he's
for a
the
while.
approved driver of the second dragon. The techie makes it sound like you have to go to a freaking DMV and have your parent fill out the allotted hours.
It's like
he rides the dragon day and night to get past his permit.
She did know that the only people he had heard this from was Bran and your quote-unquote best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So are they targets? And if you remember earlier in the episode, I think it was at Jorah's suggestion, not only, stand by Tyrion, he's good people, but also do this. She goes to Sansa, and it feels like she's trying to extend a hand and try to bring things together because...
She was holding her hand.
Yeah.
There you go, literally.
Yeah.
But then Sansa says, what's going to happen with the North when all this is over? Because we pledged that we would never be ruled by another in the North.
And Khaleesi's like, you bend the knee, bitch, end of story.
Yeah, and then Khaleesi, the hand drops away. There's some negativity, some more side-eyeing, I think. As Gleeman
some side-eye, though.
I knew that scene was too good to be true because it started out, they got so warm to each other immediately, and I'm like, I've never seen two women behave like this in my life. From hating to loving, and then when the hand pulled away, I went, yeah, I recognize that. So, that's more likely.
So maybe Jon Snow isn't necessarily the one in imminent danger if she's all about the crown, and does she try to separate him from those that have supported him on the back end? So this one has very much long into episode 5, 6, and 7. I feel like
that's going to be a definite long play. Something that just dawned on me while we were talking about and Danny and the heritage and Jon and everything. The people that know that Jon is the rightful heir are Sam, Bronn, Jon. That's it.
Yep.
If they die,
that's true.
They die either in battle or because Danny kills them.
Right, so she's motivated.
Some combination of those.
That would suck.
Nobody knows that Jon
true.
had. Nobody knows that Jon had.
She's my favorite character in the history of the show, and I would hate her more than I hate Cersei if she did that.
Possible.
If she did that for that reason, to usurp the authority.
She could take one of those dragons, go torch the Citadel real quick, and suddenly there's no written any type of knowledge whatsoever. That's it.
I'm just throwing it out there. I hope it doesn't end up coming to that. Can we segue to Tyrion for a minute?
Let's go.
So,
what's his long play?
Tyrion's gotten a beat down in many straight episodes now with the bad advice that he's given, and deservedly so, by the way. The advice was terrible, and we all knew it.
Yeah.
But then it feels like they're setting him up to course correct, right? He's done bad advice, and he's going to do something, maybe in this battle, or maybe shortly after the battle, where he redeems himself, right?
Right, because they had Jorah basically set that up.
He did.
Jorah's supposed to be a trustworthy guy, and he has no reason to really lie about that, and he's basically saying, give him a second chance. Yeah. He's smart, and then, the scene where he talks to Bran, or Three-Eyed Raven, whatever, he's got information now, so he's got to give that to someone, or put that in action somewhere, otherwise that whole scene really didn't mean anything.
And he has Valyrian steel.
Jorah does.
Yeah. Yeah, Jorah was gifted it by Samwell,
I
right?
did like, as the
family sword.
The Samwell of this group, I like that he brought the sword to Jorah, and Jorah's like, well, you keep it.
Yeah.
And he's like, honestly, I can't even lift this thing. I could see myself saying that. Like, it's a good sword, but honestly, I'm not built for this.
Really?
Now, for me, the most intrinsically emotional thing that came out of episode 2, just a couple of seconds, when Brienne of Tarth was knighted by Jaime,
pretty cool,
in front of the fire with Tormund, who clearly has a crush on her. He has for a while, and she almost cried.
Yeah,
I mean, was that not one of the greatest moments in the history of this show?
I mean, that scene was already great before that. Just all of them sitting around the fire, BSing, talking about a giant killing. He's like,
how about Tormund? By the way, just out of nowhere, to the solicitation of nobody.
Right.
You know why I've called XYZ? And then I was breastfed by the Giants' wife for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then just takes the longest, messiest drink
and also,
out of his horn.
We watch it with the closed captions on because it can be difficult sometimes to get names and like with the accents and stuff like that. So we watch it so I get all of it.
Nice.
And the closed caption when he was drinking, it was like outrageous slurping noises or like gargling, out of control gargling. I was like, oh yeah, that's about right. Like, it was
Okay.
That's great.
But yeah, that
to
scene
that
was
scene,
great.
the best thing about that scene to me was how natural the conversation seemed.
Yeah.
And I bought the whole thing, and it's so hard to do. That was like 5 straight minutes of just those people talking.
Yeah.
And it all felt like that really could have happened, and at no point did it get cheesy, or uncharacteristic for any of them. So I just thought that whole scene was fantastic, and it was the only time we've ever gotten that many disparate people into one place, one time, and to talk things through, and it worked.
And the thing you said about it not being cheesy, after the first episode, I didn't think the season premiere was that good because the tone of it seemed off. We talked about it. Like, it seemed kind of cheesy or like too jokey. And a lot of people responded to that and went, oh, you just don't like it because there wasn't bloodshed and the plot didn't get advanced. Well, there was literally no bloodshed last night. And the plot, I would argue, advanced even less than it did in the season premiere. This was just people kind of sitting around, except for the Big John revelation is the plot. And I thought this was a great episode.
Me too.
I think this is one of the best 5 or 10 episodes in the series.
Loved
because
it.
every scene, including the one you just mentioned, felt 100% authentic.
Yep.
There was like emotional resonance to it. I thought it was brilliant. Like, if that would have been the leadoff episode for the season,
right.
I wouldn't have had any complaint.
But there was a commonality in episode 2 of everything preparing for the battle.
Yeah.
So therefore, there was that commonality, that common thread that for me made it more compelling. Now, speaking of the fireside situation, Sunday evening I found this via the New York Post. And it's a theory on the song that was sung in front of the fire.
Jenny's song,
Yeah, Jenny's song. Give me 90 seconds. Tyrion requests a song. Podrick breaks out into a mournful tune called Jenny's Song as the camera pans over various characters spending what may be their last night alive. Wait, who's Jenny and why should we care about her song? In the history of the world of Westeros, long before the events of the show, Jenny of Oldstones was a poor woman who was married to Prince Duncan Targaryen, one of Daenerys and Jon's ancestors. Prince Duncan fell in love and married Jenny against her father's wishes, eventually giving up his right to the throne for her. In other words, it's essentially the Westeros version of Edward VIII marrying something called Wallace Simpson. So the line, quote, "the thing I do for love," end quote. A Jaime Lannister classic that Bran Stark brings up again in this episode applies to more than just Jaime. It also describes the story of Duncan and Jenny, and it could very well be the ultimate story of Jon and Daenerys. Since Jon is in line for the throne ahead of Daenerys, this foreshadows that he could relinquish his claim for her. Anyone holding out hope for King Jon Snow just got a blow to that theory. I know we discussed it a little bit earlier, but the harbinger, the tell, may have been Jenny's song in front of the fire.
Right, and Charge, you said, like, well, how many people really know about Jon Snow's true lineage?
Yeah.
And if we're only talking about a handful of people, some of whom may not even be alive after 40 more minutes of the next episode, it's possible Jon could just be like, if they both make it through alive, could essentially just say to her, look, I don't want this gig.
Right.
I'll be with you. You can have the gig. You keep calling me Jon Snow. We won't even have to tell anyone about this.
It's true.
Because nobody's going to go digging, especially after this. Nobody's going to be at the Citadel looking up stuff in books for a while after this big battle.
Probably not.
Hey, Charge, what bores you more, Bran's personality or my story about Jenny's song?
That was good.
I mean, seriously. Oh, my God. That's more of a cold shoulder than Tormund got from Brienne before she was knighted.
Well, the first problem with Jenny's song to Charge is that it has words. That's the problem.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
Wait, we have a major character development we have to talk about.
Men of the North, the Unsullied. That was the voice of Paul Charchian. Runs fanball.com by day, loves Thrones by night. Eric Nordquist, producer of 9 to Noon, KFAN, KFAN.com. Aaron Gleeman, the Thrones tech in-chief of Glitzy Baseball Prospectus, and I'm Paul Allen. Go ahead, Charge.
We got to talk Arya.
Yes.
Massive developments here
They spent
on a variety of fronts.
So much time in that episode advancing that relationship. Right?
Yes, yep.
Gendry is low-key cool.
Yeah, Gendry is pretty cool, as a matter of fact.
Nice guy.
Yeah, and
Eddie has more dragon glass than anybody.
She found him worthy. First, I think we can safely establish that was stunt boobs. That was not Macy Wood. That
you didn't even see them.
Of
You
course,
saw them from the side.
Of course,
it was from the back. It's from the back.
What?
When they showed her naked, it's from the back. You can't see her face.
That's the first thing you think of in that scene?
Well, because it's uncomfortable because she's young.
Is she?
And
how old?
I don't know.
Life?
I don't know in real life.
And
then when they flipped to her face, it was from the shoulders up. So that was, I just felt more comfortable knowing.
Are we sure it was her?
But we've learned that in Thrones in general.
I mean, she's 22
in real life.
So just call
it.
Yeah,
all right. Okay.
Wait, are we sure it was her?
No, I think it's not her. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it was her.
Bent, and by the way, sitting on the bridge
with the
Hound.
Thing. That's
oh, you mean is it her within the storyline?
No,
Charge means is it her?
I meant stunt boobs. Yeah. That's one part of it.
Yeah.
There's an angle here where Arya's not Arya, and
camera angle.
I can go down that path for just a minute.
Right.
The Hound. I wrote this quote down during the show. The Hound said to Arya, "You never used to shut up. Now you're a mute."
Boom.
And I'm like, okay.
Right.
Is that a hint? Then later, Gendry. She asked for Gendry to make her a weapon. What does he make? A long staff for a 5-foot-tall girl.
What's wrong with that?
Here's what's wrong with it.
When she was fighting that girl in the faces bit, that's what she used.
No.
She had the stick.
Yeah. I don't think she had a long staff. Her preferred weapon is the rapier, her needle, right? You'd think that's what they would have given her. And, I don't remember her using a long staff in other episodes, including then, but maybe I'm wrong. It just seemed like all of a sudden she's fluent in the long staff.
She trained with one against that other girl.
Yeah.
All right.
The mini face guy.
When she kept getting her ass kicked.
Well, that's but
it built her and made her stronger.
With the blindfold on.
If it's not her,
it'd be a bummer.
I hope no one tells Gendry. He'll be like, well, who was it then?
Well,
because that could be the last person she went into was Walder Frey.
Yeah.
Who was some 90-year-old girl's dude. Like Gendry, she turned back into him.
So Gendry just may have slept with Hodor?
Yeah, but let's assume not. Now, the sleeping part's very important. The heir to the Baratheon throne may have just knocked up the Starks family, right?
Because she did not know until he said it in there that I'm a Baratheon bastard. And she was shocked by it.
Which was one of the first scenes was Robert Baratheon and Ned Stark talking about, I have a son, you have a daughter, let's merge our two houses.
Yeah, you're right.
Which might have been the first episode or the second episode or something like that.
So what amazing foreshadowing that would be, right?
Whoa.
So Arya may now be carrying the heir to the throne. Right now.
Yeah, well, now we're waiting on multiple pregnancies to play out.
Yes.
We're waiting on the Cersei pregnancy.
Which is confirmed. The Cersei pregnancy got confirmed by Jaime, assuming he'd know.
Bran's arm by the red tree used as bait.
Yeah. We're laughing now, but if that happens, I'll have to stop watching the show.
It'll be
I'll
the
just
greatest
scream.
take in the history.
They amputate Bran.
But I did like Jaime did say, oh yeah, she's definitely pregnant. But how would he know? Technically,
well,
they didn't have like a sonogram back then. Like,
no,
there was no.
But he might have seen the stomach getting bigger or something. I don't know. Maybe he has a way to know, but. I thought that was an important plot point because there's been a lot of speculation on whether Cersei's actually pregnant or not.
Agreed.
It appears not. And that means that Arya's baby, a lot of people think a baby's going to end up on the throne.
Right.
Maybe Arya's baby's in play,
well,
maybe not.
And technically the clock could be taken on a possible Daenerys pregnancy too.
Yeah, why isn't Khaleesi pregnant?
So I mean,
she could be pregnant too.
This could be. What if the
battling babies?
Yeah, the sequel to
in
Game
episode
of Thrones,
6,
just like Baby Thrones. It's just all little kids.
Be spectacular.
Like look who's talking. All the kids are talking to each other.
By the way, with the living, the only thing that bugged me in episode 2 is enough with the defeatist attitude when it comes to this battle. I mean, everybody, maybe because they're 0.20 off that bad wine, maybe they all assume they're going to die. The defeatist attitude that they have no chance, that is no way to beat an army of the dead. I like the plan for the living. Dragon glass, bridges that implode.
Yeah.
Do they have dragon fire? That's a fair question. And how will Khaleesi's dragons stack up against the dead? So enough of the defeatist attitude. Let's go in there like Tom Brady and whoop somebody's ass.
I'm 100% with you. Other than I think, and I mentioned it, them acknowledging their own mortality and the fact that they are truly facing death was part of what made that fireside scene and some of that episode as compelling as it was.
Right.
Because these people from different backgrounds, some of them have been opponents, some of them have killed each other's families, and it was even mentioned, hey, at one point, we have all tried to battle and kill Starks, and now we're here in Winterfell defending on their ground.
Yeah.
So, part of that was kind of like, here we are. I've hated you forever.
Yeah.
But now we're going to go try and do something special.
Brilliant.
And so I think it was, I agree with you. Now it's, come on, guys, let's go, and rally the troops. But I think that did play into the nice setup and then emotional part of the episode.
There are 11-ish major characters in this show alive right now, around 11. Give me the over-under on how many walk out of this battle alive.
Ooh.
Yeah, because is Cersei the only one who's not present?
I think
and you're
everybody else.
Yeah,
you're on. As a semi-major character.
And the Mountain.
Yeah. Well, he's not. I don't think he's a major character.
You don't call him major?
Not in my mind.
I'd say 2.5 or 3.5.
You can't say this battle.
Leave or die.
You can't say this battle. You have to say this episode plus 4. Because you're the one that formulated the theory. Night King may be on his way, or no, Nordo did. Somebody did. On his way to King's Landing with the dragon to wipe out the fleet while the White Walkers lead, let's say, 70,000 members of the dead to fight at Winterfell.
We know the battle's coming. When the battle is over, I don't care if it's episode 3 or 4. When the battle's over, how many of the major characters are alive?
I think you got to say at least 2 or 3 take the L.
Yeah.
At least.
I'll take the over on 2.5.
I'm saying 6 are alive, 5 done.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'm not comfortable predicting who they're going to be because I'm so emotionally attached to some of these characters now. I'm going to be freaking devastated if Jorah from or of Mormont, if he dies. Right. I love him so much. He's the freaking Steve McQueen. He's the Robert Redford of Game of Thrones. He's just so lovable, so honest, so dignified.
Your favorite part of it is when he says what?
Khaleesi. But he doesn't say it anymore.
Khaleesi.
Now he's just like, Tyrion took my money. I'm cool with it. I'm here to serve you. I got this Valyrian steel.
Yeah.
Now I'm about to whoop somebody's ass.
Yeah, the fat kid whose dad and brother that you torched, he saved my life with the scales bit.
Khaleesi.
I love you. I'm here to serve you.
But they gave him a good, if it's his send-off. I mean, they did that for almost every character, which actually makes it tough to predict. Like, Bran of Tarth got a great send-off. Jorah got a great send-off.
Wow.
Samwell got a little bit of a potential last moment to remember them by if they just go sprinting out into the field and get hit immediately and die.
I'm going to guarantee you who's done next episode, and he may not be part of your 11. Grey Worm's done. You do not have that emotional, here's how we're going to use our 401k and retire by beaches conversation.
Right, unless you're going to go belly up.
What's her name? Miss what?
Miss Sandy?
Yeah, you don't have that conversation and make it through the battle.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just, sorry, Westeros is not that perfect, and he is absolutely done in the next episode.
Or
Grey
she's
Worm
done.
dead.
Or she's done.
Or both.
Because he says, my people are innocent or peaceful, and he says, well, mine are not, we will protect you.
Right.
Yeah.
What if there's a moment where Grey Worm can't protect
Fair point,
Sandy?
but I don't think as many people care about her as they do him.
No, I'm bored with her. She can go. I mean, now everybody speaks English, so we're happy for your 19 languages bit.
Yeah.
But the beaches conversation, you're right. As soon as she mentioned that, you're dead.
Any closing thoughts before we do the fantasy bit?
I think this is going to be an absolutely epic battle, the likes of which we've never seen before. I think it's going to be compelling, thrilling. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
All the people bitching that there hasn't been enough action through this point won't even remember that by the time they get to the end of this episode.
Yeah.
They will be so fully sated with the combat in this one.
Yep.
Those people that are only into Thrones for the bloodlust are going to get their fill.
And it'll mean a lot more because I didn't love the first episode, but this second episode set up every character to sort of remind you why you like that character.
I was reminded why I love the Hound in that episode.
So whether
you're
you see
absolutely
him,
right.
When you see him fighting, if you see him die, if you see him
care
live,
more.
you're going to go. Now
if the Hound dies, that sucks.
Yeah, but I mean,
for sure.
Because then he can't take on his brother, the Mountain, in an epic
true,
episode 5
that is
scene.
True.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, fantasy game. Do you have an updated score sheet or anything?
The updated score sheet is
nobody's dead.
Nobody's dying, so we all have the same number of points.
Okay.
And so no change that way. We're all
there are flaws in your game.
We're all sitting on 400 points. We all thought there'd be deaths in every episode, But at the end of this one,
yeah, now it's hard to.
Now it's going to get a lot harder.
What satisfies you more? The scoring system for your fantasy game or my story about Jenny Song? What's more compelling to you? All right.
Well, this fantasy game is not compelling right now because everybody has lived.
Yeah, we're tied for first.
We all have a tie.
Okay.
And again, the premise is, for people that maybe this is your first time hearing the show, each of us adds a new character to our roster every episode.
Yep.
And we've already added 2, and the longer they stay alive, the more points you get. But because all of our characters have stayed alive, we've all earned the same number of points. And now we will add our 3rd character. It can't be anybody else that's already on your roster.
Oh, it can't?
Can't be anybody on your roster.
But it can
already.
be another person's pick.
Yes.
Like last week, 3 of us picked Cersei.
Yep.
Right.
So now I got to remember who I took.
Well, I got Jon Snow and Cersei. That's who I have.
Yeah, and I know I've got Tyrion and Cersei.
Yeah, and I have Daenerys and Jon Snow.
I have Cersei and somebody.
You don't remember?
No.
Oh, dang it.
Jesus.
I don't
cares?
remember either.
Names in 3, 2, the
Jamie.
mountain.
Arya.
I say mountain.
Mountain qualifies.
Sure.
Okay,
Heck
Mountain.
That's a guy.
But does he have to appear in the episode to get points?
No, just stay alive.
Like if we
Well,
never see the mountain again,
well, it's a good
does
point.
PA
I mean-
max out his points?
Well, you could choose Gilly, I guess, right?
Yeah, right,
You know,
like
get
Qyburn.
Hot Pie, and he's never
Mountain's
even in
not
another
dying.
episode.
Okay, so I have Mountain episode 3. You have who?
I took, boy, who did I take?
Arya?
I already had
took
Arya.
Arya.
I took,
That's game.
How can I
Taking
not
somebody
remember
who's
who
going
I
to be in the
was
battle.
20 seconds ago, Charge.
Who'd you take?
I don't remember.
You're one of the
Who did you
smartest
guys
people I
take?
know, and you're coming up Hodor-like.
He has CTE.
Who do you have?
I took Sansa.
You took Sansa?
Yeah.
Another person involved in the battle.
Yeah.
I got
but
Arya.
she's not going to be
Yeah, I
front,
almost
front and
said Arya.
center on
Come
the
on.
battle at all. Honest to God, I can't remember. We'll have to go back and play the
Somebody,
Just take Jon
somebody
Snow.
get on Twitter and tell Charge who he picked
I
after you
picked.
listen to
well,
this.
Norda will go back and
yeah.
tell me.
Also that.
He'll listen
Okay.
back. And tell
All
us who I
right.
got.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. For Eric Nordquist, Paul Charchian, and the Thrones techie Aaron Gleeman, I am Paul Allen. Enjoy Episode 3, Season 8, Game of Thrones. We will give you a precap next Monday, which will be April 29th. Thank you very much for listening. We are Men of the North. 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 Are Men